Buonasera a tutti, sono detto che devo parlare in inglese. I really appreciate this opportunity to participate in this event, and it's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here among this outstanding audience. You know that agricultural sector is very important for Ukraine, not only because of the quantity of posts of labor for our citizens, but in terms of all currency that we receive from export. So you know that Ukraine was a breadbasket of Europe and turned to be one of the biggest supplier of food products worldwide. You may know that 10% of all grain all over the world is exported from Ukraine. Also, as well as 16% of corn and more than 55% of sunflower oil were exported from Ukraine. Just one short notice that every 10th loaf of bread is baked from the grain produced by Ukrainians. It's very, I guess, it's very important figure just to notice. Before the 24th of February, our country exported mainly more than 90% of agro products through the seaports in Black Sea and Azov Sea. But after this dramatic situation and happened in Ukraine after the invasion of Russia to Ukraine, everything changed, and not only in Ukraine, but in the global food market as well. So after these terrible conditions, and then events happened in February in Ukraine, and that is still going on. More than, just listen, 320 million people worldwide are at risk of food famine. Need to say that even during the pandemic times connected with COVID during 19 year, Ukraine did not disrupt its obligations to deliver necessary food to the external markets. But the situation changed starting from February. And this invasion of Russia to Ukraine is not only about the global food security, but also we can see that many economic changes are going on and will be different situation in the next years and decades. As a result of these logistics disruptions, we can see the growth of prices not only in Ukraine but in the world. But I have to say that we have to see as well as the difference in price in Ukraine and on external markets. And all this is because of disruption of logistic chains and links of Ukrainian producers and the external markets. So this is the crucial importance of us, of all of us, just to be united to realize and to find the solution, the best way how we can change the situation. Because in Ukraine there are still a lot of agro products from the previous year that we need and we have to say and to deliver to the external markets. And in some months we'll have the new crop year and there will be much more agro products in Ukraine. So we need to be prepared for this situation and to find the best solution. As I said, that Ukraine was the breadbasket and is ready to be to remain the breadbasket of Europe and for the world. But at this time, we need to unite our efforts at the government, business community of Ukraine, and the world business community to find the best solutions how to respond to these challenges that we face now. From our side, I have to underline that the embassy of Ukraine to Italy is and remains at your disposal to give any kind of assistance that we can provide, and to help to find this cooperation between Ukrainian agro producers and not only Italian but European and the global ones. So I wish every participant in this event today to exchange the contacts and to stabilize the new cooperation between already known Ukrainian producers and the new ones. Thank you very much for the cooperation.
Thank you very much, Yaroslav. It was very informative. From my side, I want to say that what I feel on this conference, that really the Italy and Ukraine is very involved in the cooperation in agriculture business, and this logistic change, which was broken by the war in Ukraine, and they're not possible to bring the products through the sea and through the Black Sea ports. It's actually have the very great impact on their this cooperation. But today, what is necessary to build the new logistics possibilities, cooperations. And this fact, I want to ask Roman Rusakov to present the figures and facts about the Ukraine, about the agriculture industry of Ukraine, the logistics issues, and the numbers. Thank you, Roman.
Okay, Forza Italy. Hi to everyone. We've been already said a couple of words to each other by, I would say, morning session, but basically that was noon session. And I started that speech at times with the words that I've been dreaming by my childhood years, come to San Siro, and finally I came with the other purpose. That's the wrong story, that's the wrong market, but nevertheless we come together with the one goal to achieve it, and it seems like it's something good happening in a way of like our ideal forecast, and the way we try to maximize and just establish new ways of thinking, embrace like our cooperation, and finally establish the way how we can supplement each other and make our trading activity better and improved dramatically. So we've been just realized by the first days, first weeks after invasion that logistics is going to be a mess, and it's what we've been seeing, right? And throughout the last probably 60 days, I think commercial market with support of government, in my strong belief, did really incredible job. That, you know, like sometimes you need like years to make a reform, and in such difficult periods of the war, when you face this astonishing terrorism from the other neighbor country who used to call us brothers, we have like all reasons to move our like ideas faster and force it quickly. So we've been realizing that like logistics is a bottleneck, and certainly we structure that port logistic being, I mean, completely, I mean, how to say, destroying the way of making the job happen, and the function was blocked. So just imagine 7.8 million ton done by Ukrainian ports in December 21. That's unbelievable. Like, there's a number what some European countries been dreaming to do within a year. 7.8 in a month. It's just incredible. And we've been blocked by those people. And like throughout the last days, last weeks, last 2 months, people found like and established really great opportunities, alternative ways of sources, the raw materials through west border as well as through like south ports. So that's an idea of just to like make by few clicks like a few slides to show you. I'm pretty like sure that like most of them already know the numbers and it doesn't make any big sense to keep your focus on that, but nevertheless keep it up and see like that the slide shows that the opposite direction of managing the business happening nowadays that we used to do mainly all by bulk, and again like every ship was like handed to Panamax. I mean, with some like peanuts coming by coasters. And today, to grab an opportunity and ship like 5K out of Reni, Ismail, and other ports looks like a really great job. It's what we have to admit. Yeah, so that's a story about what we had and what we are currently facing. And we realized that being like faced with that problematic situation, we had to like find alternative way of supplying the goods, and the wider logistic might give us like the more opportunity to increase and boost our export numbers, right? So we've been doing some job like together with the market and meeting people from different ports and realize that we have to look at the Polish, we have to look at Romania ports facility as well as Germany, and certainly like as an option Klaipėda from Litva, right? So that's the map shows that while we are blocked over here, we still have options to do our job like properly. Not as like we used to do, like sailing 6, 7, 8, like 5, depends the months in the months. But still, having said about the numbers, we just finished and completed like a kind of what say kind of a nice month, like reaching about 1 million ton of exports by April, and we have no doubt that 2 million is reachable and it will be achieved by market in coming months. Like I tend to believe my personal idea that's like by May it will be 1.3 and gradually it will be improved. Yeah, certainly we need Italians to make these numbers better. So keep it in mind that many things also depends on you. So I keep you obliged. Yeah, and basically, beside the grain story, there's also incredible surplus of oils, right? And you Italians been looking for sun oil, for sun meal, and trust me, that's the way how we can manage that. You just need to bring more wagons and cooperate with people who are really keen and eager to manage that happen. So I think we have numerous options how to proceed with the great export. I mean, in reality of conditions we are facing nowadays, right? So that's again, the map shows the different ports throughout Europe and the number of different like facilities we found out as an alternative source of making that export. So every next slide will be shortly about the country. I think we just skip it. Because the one who managed that great party, Oksana, said that it should be within 10 minutes. So I will skip it if you don't mind. And you will get the presentation after and get the details. Anything you need, I will explain you after. So yeah, just we are listening like Klaipėda ports and Polish ports, like with information where we can structurally base our program and like put ourselves like in conditions of being exporters there. Certainly making competition to other origins, but nevertheless developing European infrastructure and let infrastructure be, how to say, more powerful, because we just face that we've been developing Ukrainian infrastructure for years. I would say even like last 10 years we've been doing that quite actively, and for the time being Ukrainian powerness and capability to send the wagons and do the things is really huge, while Europeans are not ready yet to accept that. So we need to find a balance, to find the wagons and improve like everything what comes to the border, what comes to the loading machines, transloading machines, and any transmissions. So in my belief, all about money in that business, humanity is great, but that's a chance to make incredible money. I've been working in the grain market for 9 years. I haven't seen like such opportunity to make easy money. You just buy a cargo at the border, you just make like 20, 15, $30, depends how good you are, but you make money back to back. So that's a chance to develop infrastructure, that's a chance to make Europeans stronger and to feel it in the package. So it's just how I see it. So then next, it's also briefly about the other options in Hamburg, Rostock, in Germany. Have to admit that ports are like full Panamax fleet and they're capable to do a really great job. And while everyone just maybe thinking that and claiming that, oh, it's so far, indeed, it's far. And indeed, the shortage of wagons from Germany coming to Ukraine. But I tend to believe that it's just a matter of time when we get more folk into that road. And I think it's a great source of making the program. And finally, Romanian like brothers been supporting us so I mean, how to say, heavily in a good way, in a positive sense. And they're really like making us more efficient. And as far as you probably seen, thanks to ULF companies, thanks to like generally Ukrainian people there, but there's been a Panamax sent out of constant support with Ukrainian corn. And if you ask me like 3 months before the war, is it possible to make it in the war conditions? Yeah, reply no, right? But within war conditions, within an ability to build anything, to know anyone who might assure you with a certain logistics supply, to make that happen, that's incredible job. So I don't know whether we have ULF with us or not. Mr. Vladimir, I don't know whether they have ULF, okay? But thanks to ULF, they make a great promotion to Ukraine. Yeah. And then again, Dutch ports, it's in regards to oil. So then I think the most like the most activity coming from the point of like what should we expect from exportable surplus next year? What should be the crop campaign? How good we are in the planting, and so on, so on. It's what I've been like I mean receiving as the main questions from you guys, from other Europeans. I can assure you, make a bet that Ukraine has like plenty of things to do, and it's a lot of corn, a lot of seeds. So just imagine, we tend to believe that by end of the season, 11 million corn is ending stocks, right? So ending stocks of corn, 11 million ton, like that's about 6 million to be left in regards to wheat market. Despite that fact, we also have like assessment of 6 million to consider as a seeds. And basically haven't said about the new crop. We are also kind of positive. I can show you that by the numbers. So we're expecting that wheat might be reached about 24 million tons, barley 6 million tons. That makes you feel comfortable that the next year might be accessible like 20 plus of wheat. I mean, is it more than enough to get the sufficient flow? And just imagine what might happen with the world prices, with contribution to your end consumers, with the products you've been doing for centuries. Once we stop the war, we've been discussing a lot about the gas, politicians, macro, micro. That's great, but we have simple solution to make big deal, but really change the story in this incredible market volatility. Because in such price-wise instability, there's no way we can consider any forward programs. And without forward programs, it's difficult to build a business on a long term. And corn, certainly, there's a main story about corn. So as mentioned already, 11 million approximately are going to be as ending stocks. It depends how good Ukrainians will work with the Italians and other countries. So imagine 10, 11 millions, okay. And the next season, it will be like 25, 27, 26, okay, as you wish. But that's simply meaning that you have another like up to 30 million tons to export. I think it's an incredible number. 30 million tons next year in opportunity. We just need to stop the war. That's it. That's the point. Yeah, and rapeseed looks good. We are expecting about 3 million ton production next year. Soya more or less same, 2.9, 2.8. So it's, yeah, it's, I would say, quite decent fall. Yeah, and certainly sunflower. I've been mentioning that's about 6 million going to be in ending stocks, and next year we are quite positive, and that's a delicate topic. But nevertheless, we tend to think that about 11 million will be a crop. So imagine 6 million from the old crop and another 11 million from the new crop. Come on, we're coming to about 17 million ton when we just harvested by the last season. That's more than enough. Yeah, and to make a short summary, I think we have to discuss more about the recipe, concrete things to do, and to make a boost of our program. So certainly that's about wagons, like some small thing we have to establish. We discuss a lot. Oh, that's a trouble. That's a trouble. Yeah, indeed, that's a trouble. Indeed, that's kind of like obstacles we've been seeing so far for some time. But that doesn't mean that that's not accessible. And again, with $20, $30, and in seats, you might do easily $100. I think, I don't know, incredible market. Again, what to say? So that's a day when you might be so active in the market, and by doing so, create a fortune for your future, for your company, for your infrastructure, so on. So it just goes without saying that those difficulties create an opportunity. So I suggest all of you just try to cooperate, talk to all Ukrainians come to that event. If you would need any more details about respectful people who've been doing execution of Ukrainian contracts out of, let's say, our market for years, I will be sharing with you with pleasure. Direct numbers, like any suggestion, whom talk, what basis, what regions, etc. But trust me, that's an opportunity. That's market about opportunity. You will never see this amount of grains and raw materials staying in one country, really looking, I wouldn't say desperately need, but okay, call it like that, really looking for the buyer. Just bring the wagon, manage the buyer things, and you will get them business. Thank you.
Roman, it's a great presentation. It's really informative as usual, and very specific to their active points that the people, their Italian and Ukrainian companies should get on the board. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask some question the people who is in our panel. What can be a role of Italy in these circumstances of the war? The role in business, the role in some other aspects of like humanitarian mission, etc. But of course, mainly we speak about the business, and maybe Cristiano Remoto will give us some bullet points what can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me reiterate our deep solidarity to the Ukrainian people. The government of Italy is really next to the Ukraine, and we are work at the international level to find also at in the international organization, in the international dialogue and table solutions and work and activities to support the Ukraine. As for the trade between Italy and Ukraine, we have some figures. We have very good relations in terms of trade in the agri-food sector because of the production of Ukraine. In 2021, the import from Ukraine in Italy in the agri-food sector was about 641 million euro. While the export was about 340 million euro. But there is still room to improve this kind of trade because there are some products in which we are net importer, like maize or sunflower. Ukraine is already the first exporter in Italy, but there is room. For example, as for the wheat, we import from the world 1.2 billion euro of wheat, and from Ukraine just 28 million euro. For other products, there are better figures, like for the sunflowers, like for the corn, as already said, but there is still room to improve this. Clearly, this is a very difficult moment because the infrastructure, the logistic, but I see this positive forecast in terms of production, because even in this very troubled period, the farmers, the Ukrainian farmers are continuing to work. And also you are looking for very difficult solution, but you are finding the solution. So I think that in Italy there is the possibility to strengthen more and more the relation, and we are really willing to support Ukraine. So there is room for improve the trade, considering the difficult situation at the European level. We are trying also to facilitate the flow. In these days, we are discussing about a new regulation to improving the trade agreement with the Ukraine, removing some tariff for temporarily for 1 year for the moment. This regulation will be very important because the tariff that are still in place will be temporarily removed. And we as Italy are really supporting this regulation. And then we are also working in terms of international cooperation in the G7, G20. We are working to make the market transparent, because to avoid any market disruption. And we are working with the FAO because we were planning to work on a program on the food coalition and to finance the food coalition. And we asked the FAO to put a specific budget coming from the Minister of Agriculture to work for in Ukraine. And this kind of project is still in the negotiation, but it could help to improve the relationship between the two ministries of agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture of Italy and Ukraine. And not only for the moment, for this difficult moment, but also in the perspective for the future, because we hope that this war will immediately stop, and then we should be ready to work for the reconstruction and rehabilitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Graziella. There are also the question of the practical solutions of the logistics challenges that today we see in Ukraine. The usual pace of export, just for your knowledge, from Ukraine is about 8 million tons. It's grains, oil seeds, it's oil, it's meals, it's the niche products. And mainly these goods was moving through the Black Sea ports. Today we have the pace. Let's hope that we can come to the 1 million tons, and maybe we'll increase it to the 1.3, 1.5 million tons. So we see that there is the decrease of their export possibilities of today's situation in 8 times or even more in some particular goods. And their practical question today, how their Italian companies, Italian government, Italian traders, processors, end users can help in their logistics issues that today their agriculture companies in Ukraine are challenging. In this way, I want to give the question to the Massimiliano Dlendic, the train expert. What can be the solutions? Because their railway transport is the one of the main which is today can help to increase, to expand the possibilities to bring more product to the Europe and especially to the Italy. Thank you.
Thank you. Not an easy task. As you said, rail cars are missing. I heard that more or less there are 1,000 rail cars waiting on the Ukrainian side at the Romanian border. Actually, totally there should be about 2,000 rail cars waiting to cross the border in order to transship. The situation is not easy. How to solve it? Well, I have to say the things how they are. The things is that we are suffering, we're in the middle of a storm, but let's say of the perfect railway storm. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of infrastructure works all over Europe, actually, because the EU gave money to every country, of course, to improve the infrastructure, the railway infrastructure. But unfortunately, these works, they are slowing the round trips of our trains. I give you an example. At the Croatian-Hungarian border, the border is actually closed 8 hours per day. So it means 1/3 of the possible transit is closed. This is only one part of the problems, but there are, of course, the bottlenecks and the round trips are suffering due to these problems. About the round trips, normally from Hungary to Italy, we normally used to organize trains with a round trip of 10, 14 days, 16 days maximum. Due to these problems, actually, the round trips are of 16, 18, 21 days. So it means that, in fact, the fleet of rail cars, which is used for that kind of transport, so we're speaking about serial transport coming from Hungary, which is one of the biggest supplier for Italy. We have at the end of the game 1/3 less of the fleet which we used to have, because if we have let's say 100 trains moving from that direction and the round trips are of 14 days and at the end of the game they are of 1 week more, it means 1/3 is loss. So we are facing a big lack of rail cars actually. Other problem about the rail car, because the rail cars we can build. No, it is possible to build a rail car. Well, the factories are quite fully booked for that. But the most difficult thing also is that a rail car which about 2-3 months ago had a cost of 100,000 euro. Today, it has a cost of 130,000 euro. So here again, 30% more of cost in order to build a rail car. So you can also understand that the rail car investors, they are not very keen to invest nowadays into a rail car, and hopefully because everybody hopes, of course, that the steel prices will diminish sometime, and so the price of the rail car will come back to 100,000 instead of 130,000. So we really are suffering this big lack of rail cars actually, and we have to find other solutions. So of course the solution could be to make bigger shorter round trips, maybe through other routes with a little bit higher prices, but in this way you will be able to to have more flow from Ukraine. Price is higher, but probably the traders will anyway accept that. Possible, I don't know. Other option would be to find other ways how to transport. For example, in bulk containers. So there are actually in Europe some rail cars, flat rail cars for the container transport is not a big problem. We can find them, but we need also the bulk containers in order to transport. That could be another option. It is not cheap because the bulk container plus the rail car and so on has a higher cost than a hopper rail car. But okay, this is also a question of price, of question of competitiveness of the transport, or it is maybe the only way how to realize the transport at the end of the game. So maybe I don't know, because a container is we don't have much bulk containers here also in Western Europe. Maybe in Ukraine there are containers. This is a question mark. I really don't know. No. So we need to do our best to find these solutions. Unfortunately, this is, as I said, really a storm. We cannot do much against that, but to try to improve all of us the flow. And once we will improve the flow, we will be able to transport more and more. This is for Italy, but as far as I know, this counts also for Germany and so on. The situation is almost the same.
Okay, Mr. Lance, thank you very much for your expert vision of the situation. So this is, let's say, this is the true story, and this is what we actually want to highlight it by making this event and show what is the actual problems is with logistics, agricultural logistics from Ukraine to Europe and particularly to Italy. There may be some other opinions on the panel about this issue. Maybe Graziella, you want to add something?
I really am not an expert on logistics. What I can say is that there is a willing from the government to support, and so. But I can say any word because I'm not an expert, and I could say stupid things. I can assure you that there is the availability of the government to work and to support any solution. But I think that the previous speakers has a really deep knowledge of the problem. Thank you.
Okay, that's we highlighted this problem about the logistics, but let's speak about something positive, let's say. So we have the very difficult situation, and all the crisis brings the opportunities. And we need to turn our mind, I believe, and start to think in the more creative way and find the new opportunities. And this is the question to the business of Ukraine and to business of Italy. What the new opportunities we are looking for in these circumstances, and what can be brought to the table and in the practice, because this creates the more strengths to create the new cooperation, the new companies, the new joint ventures, the new processing cooperation. So I want to give the word to Tair, the representative of Ukrainian agriculture business.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Tahir Musayev. I represent Grain Alliance, Swedish entity which has 60,000 hectares under management in Ukraine. Actually, we have 6 elevators with total capacity of 300,000 tons. And Vitaly started telling that something positive, but I'm not the person to tell positive things. I'm from agriculture in Ukraine. So just to, probably we shouldn't remind, but the war is happening right now. People are being killed. And that's the most important resource that we have. It's our people, it's us, who are working right now under sirens, who are working under bombing in many areas, but still trying to seed. They're trying to seed, we're trying to seed with the hope that we will manage to deliver it to the final consumer and to sell it, and to sell it at proper price. So every time when I talk to a trader or logist or consumer in a, not in Italy, in other places of Western Europe, let's say, and I see prices which are really do not represent market prices worldwide, but just because Ukraine has more supply than demand, as Roman mentioned, probably it's like we're in a situation when we have to sell at any price, maybe some companies, then I call it marauding. I'm not calling it business. So I hope here are mostly businessmen, so we can talk some business. So what I'm saying is I'm not that positive as Roman mentioned about the future harvest. Harvest 2022 that we're going to harvest right now, it's going to be more or less okay, hopefully on those territories that are freed. But just because 70 to 80% of inputs necessary for seeding campaign were pre-purchased before the war. For our company, we have pre-purchased 95% till December 2021. So we have no other option than to seed. But at the same time, half of our elevators capacities are filled up with grain, old crop. Okay, we will manage something with that, hopefully. But when it comes for winter wheat seeding or rapeseed seeding in August and September 2022 for the next season harvest, I'm not that positive. I'm pretty sure that many farmers will choose not to seed at all for 2 major reasons. First reason, storage capacities are full. Second reason, there is no good price from Western Europe. I mean, there is a price, but then half of it goes for logistics. Maybe sometimes it's fair, but sometimes it's not fair. The numbers that you have shown for logistics prices, mostly for Northern Europe and Poland, etc., like around 40 to 50 euros. Fair price to deliver from a Ukrainian border to Italy would be 60 euros. Guess how much I'm getting quotes? I'm getting 100, 110, maybe. And I'm not calling it proper business. I'm calling it taking advantage. But it's only for those people who think small. And now I want to tell positive things. I urge people, I urge businessmen to think big. Ukraine 10 years ago, I'm not telling 30 years ago, wasn't an exporter in that scale at all. In 10 years, it's not only about land, but it was a lot of investment in infrastructure. It was a lot of investment in purchasing land, in new equipment, in creating teams, in getting new expertise, in educating people in the United States, going to China, to Brazil, thanks to many participants of the market. So within the last 10 years, those companies that sold big in Ukraine made really large advantages. They made ports that are capable, that altogether were capable for exporting 7 to 8 million tons per month at maximums, but it's a huge number. Because just recall 10 years ago, if you were doing 1 million ton, it was like, wow. It's 10 years, it's a short period of time. So I urge everyone to think globally and think big. On the very same map, our logistics routes goes towards Poland and Germany and Klaipeda in order to put it in Panamax port or handy port and transfer elsewhere. In Italy, it's only final consumption. Come on, guys, Ukrainian wheat is coming. Middle East is there, just near you. Why you're not the transitors of Ukrainian wheat? With handy, it's absolutely possible. Unfortunately, you don't have Panamax ports yet, but I'm pretty sure probably not in this room or in this room, there are some businessmen that will think about it big. The war is not going to stop tomorrow. Let us not dream. The war is going to happen 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm a negative guy here. The Russians will not stop until after they conquer all of Ukraine. And Ukrainians are brave enough not to stop and to be conquered. So the war is not going to stop. So therefore, the business, I'm not talking about the nations. The nations is for politicians to do, and I actually shall say a lot of positive words for both Ukrainian team of politicians and Italian and all over Western Europe. A lot of things are being done, and tens or 100,000 tons of humanitarian aid, and we feel it as a business. We feel it having 1,000 employees and having like 30,000 of leaseholders whom we have contract with. We see that they receive this humanitarian aid, of course. But if we're talking about business, I urge for the third time, think big, think globally. Don't think about opportunity for the next couple of months, how you can make extra $30 on the Ukrainian farmer. Because this extra $30 on Ukrainian farmer or $50 in trading means that probably he will not see it next season. Because right now he's forced to sell, but if he has this $50, he will have opportunity to see the gain. Otherwise, you will be seeing shrinking Ukrainian producers, shrinking market, which will it will bring for inflation here. So you take $50 today, you lose $100 in 2 years. That's your call, guys. So I don't know whether I was positive or negative. I'm telling that it will be a lot of opportunities, and it's up to local businesses to take care of it, or Ukrainian business will come and invest.
Okay, thank you, Tair. That's the main point that we are not. Thank you very much. That's the main point, that we are not meeting for telling just their, like, you know, the compliments and their words that the people want to hear. The main point of this event is just to say, and sometimes even to scream about their problems and the extremely negative conditions where their farmers of Ukraine are appeared today. Yes, you want to join something?
Wanted to add up something. Yes, we have, when I say the Ukrainian business will come and do something, we just purchased an elevator in Slovakia. So right now I'm considering probably we shall build a port in Italy, right? But then it will be our margins, not yours, guys. Please make a competition to us, go to your banks, get some couple of $1 million and just build a port.
Okay, I believe that I believe that Italy is
and invest in rail cars too. Why
yes,
not?
for sure.
Why
and
not?
locomotives and the railway system.
Okay, there are.
Definitely will do. That's actually the true story. And I also met these differences that, for example, today the FOB prices in the port of Constanța or the port of Gdańsk Gdynia, Polish one, or their Hamburg or the Rotterdam, it can be like 330, 340 euro per ton. And when you came to the trader, he said that the price will be 280. You ask, what's the difference? He said, sorry, but it's like their today's circumstances. Their corn of Ukraine is discounted. And I asked, why they discounted? Say, that's a problem with logistics, is the problem with something that will happen in the future, maybe in some months or 2 or 3. So this is really their true story of their trading and how the traders sometimes are doing. It's not all the traders, but some of them, they are trying to speculate on this story and get some extra margins, because usually the trading business is working for $1-2, let's say. And this is like the optimistic way of thinking. But in these circumstances, like the Roman said and the Tair, this is the problem, that their traders are getting like 40, 30, 50 euro a margin. And this is sometimes is not acceptable, let's say the truth. But nevertheless, there's their like discussion, and there are some opportunities, I believe, that there appeared here, maybe to construct together the port. And we have the really big ports in Ukraine, which is have the very professional equipment, the very professional teams. The railway system is very efficient in Ukraine. You know, all there are like a lot of people, a lot of businessmen criticize their Ukrainian railway company. But today, when we met the situation with European railway companies, so we understand that we have, you know, they are one of the most efficient railway company in the world, and the one of the most professional management in the world. So, and these people is worked 24/7, and they try to do their best today in these circumstances. Believe they have a huge work and under the attacking of the missiles and destroying of their railway stations, electricity on the stations. And they are just renovated for 1 or 2 days. So this is incredible what their Ukrainian railway system is doing right now in Ukraine. So I want to thank, maybe there are some questions from their, like from the people who's sitting there, and you want to ask something today, our participants, particularly me or the people from the government of Ukraine, government of Italy, their business of Italy. So you're welcome. You can ask some questions if you want. Okay. I think that we have the pretty honest and open discussion about the situation in Ukraine, and we have different opinions, positive, negative, neutral, and supportive. I want also to say that in half an hour, we'll have the direct connection with Mariupol administration. This is the city which was hurted mostly from their Russian invasion in Ukraine and the Russian war, that Russian brings the war to Ukraine. And there also will be their recorded, say, message from their mayor of the Mariupol, Vadim Boychenko. And after this, there will be their, maybe his deputy or maybe himself, who will tell their real situation in Mariupol, the real humanitarian catastrophe. So I invited you and invite please your colleagues just to see their real people who is today struggling mostly. Of course, there are a lot of points of the really active conflict and the war activity in Ukraine. But the Mariupol is the city which has become their the sign, and today this is mean that I'm the Mariupol, and so nevertheless, in half an hour we'll have this online connection with their like people from Mariupol, and I invite you to join to this event. I'm very thankful for their participants of today's panel. It's very important to have these events and to highlight the problems which exist in Ukrainian society, business, government, and with relationships with their European partners and Italy especially. I know the Italy, the support from the first days, it's a very huge support, and their people, the refugees that come to the Italy was like you know, the native people here. They was met by their citizens of Italy, and you are trying to do your best. We know it. And thanks to the ambassador of Ukraine, Yaroslav Melnik, did come here and also represent his view on this situation. To their representative of the Agricultural Ministry of Ukraine, Rusakov, who is coming here, for the Massimiliano to come and say the truth about the railway system of the Europe, not only Italy, because this is the common problem. And to Tair, the representative of the business, who say the pragmatic, realistic situation, what happens today in Ukrainian business. So I hope that this event helps to understand more about the Ukraine, more about the relationships, more about the agricultural business, and more about the issues and challenges that we are facing today in these war conditions. Thank you very much for all of you, and let's meet in half an hour and see and listen to the people from Mariupol, from the government of Mariupol. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your